So in this video, we're going to look at part B from section 1 with understanding domain and range. So we have a word problem where it states an air tanker flies over forest fires and drops water at a constant rate until its tank is empty. What is the domain and range of the function that represents the volume of water the air tanker can drop in X seconds? So the first thing we want to do, let's define our variables. And we have some information here and here. So we're going to use X. So X will equal the seconds. And then Y is going to be, let's say, the amount of water dropped. So next, we'll define a variable. After that, we want to create a function. All right, so we need some type of function that we can look at to determine domain and ranges. So we'll say create or define a function. So we know that the amount of water dropped is based on the seconds that have passed. So Y is going to be equal to, and if we look up here at the top right, it's dropped at 400 gallons a second. So it's going to be 400 gallons times our X value. Let's make that 400X. So X being seconds. So after 1 second or 2 seconds or 3 seconds, we would multiply by 400 to find the total amount of water that we've dropped. Okay, so we have our function. So let's look at domain and range now. So let's start with domain. All right, so our domain, what can X be? All right, what can the seconds be? Well, can't have negative seconds, right? So our minimum seconds would be 0. And what about our maximum seconds? So maximum seconds. Well, we know the tank has 8,000 gallons. And if each second we're dropping 400 gallons, we're going to divide 8,000 by 400. And that is going to give us 20. So the longest amount of time that we can drop water for is 20 seconds. So my domain, let's use interval notation because I prefer that. The minimum, right? We write minimum then maximum. The minimum would be 0. And our max amount of time for our X value would be 20. Now we need to decide parentheses or brackets. All right. Can 0 be part of the problem? Sure. All right. We don't have to drop any water. No time has passed. So 0 is included, which means we're going to put a bracket. And what about 20? Can we drop water for 20 seconds? Yes. Right at 20 seconds, we'll run out of water. So we're going to include a bracket for that. So that would be our interval notation for our domain. Now let's take a look at the range. All right, we need to see what values can Y be. Well, what is Y? Y, let me highlight some stuff here. So X was the number of seconds, and Y is the amount of water dropped. That's going to be our range. So how much water can we drop? Well, again, we need to look at a minimum. What would the minimum be? Well, 0. I don't need to drop any water. And what about the maximum? What is the maximum water I can drop? So maximum would be, well, how much water is in the airplane or the air tanker? 8,000 gallons. So that's the maximum water I can drop. So my interval notation for my range would be, again, minimum then maximum. Minimum is 0. Maximum is 8,000. Now, is 0 included? Yes. Is 8,000 included? Yes. So there we go. We have our domain, 0, 20, and our range. So these would be our answers. if we'd wanted to write this in set builder notation, what we would have is x such that, and then 0 to 20. So 0 is less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to 20, because our x value is going to need to fall in between those. And then set builder notation for our range would be y such that 0 is less than or equal to y, which is less than or equal to 8,000. Again, either one is right. You can say interval notation or set builder notation. I'm generally going to prefer interval notation, but they are both correct. They reflect your data. They tell you what is included in your domain and your range. There you go. So try it problems, A and B, and then again, another video, I'll have the solutions for those.